Item 7.0, Board, do I hear a motion to approve 5 certified recommendations for the 2019-2020 school year?
Madam Chair, I move that the board accept the 5 certified employment recommendations for the 2019-20 academic school year as recommended by Dr. Little.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Powers. Do we have a second? Thank you, Ms. Green. Are there any questions or comments, Board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries, and it is unanimous. Board, do I hear a motion to approve 2 administrative recommendations for the 2019-2020 school year?
Madam Chair, I move that the board accept the 2 administrative recommendations for the 2019-2020 school year as recommended by Dr. Little.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Powers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Green. Are there any questions or comments regarding the 2 administrative positions?
Yes, I move to divide the question so as to consider separately the question of approving the administrative position of Communications Director.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Garris. Let's see how we would do that. Let's see. I need for, let's see, do I need to take a vote? Because we've already got a motion and a second. I'm trying to think how we do. Let's go ahead and take a vote on them together. And wait a minute. I'm not sure how to do this. How should I do this?
You just divide the question. I make a motion to approve 1 administrative.
Well, I know, but we've already taken a motion and a second on it. You should have made it at the time of the motion. Okay, we'll just, let's take a vote on this and we'll pull it off the floor. Do I have a motion to pull the motion from the floor of the 2 joint positions for the 2 administrative positions for the 2019-2020 school year? Okay, we don't have a second. So we will vote as already stated. So we already have a motion and a second on the 2 administrative positions for the 2019-2020 school year. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed?
I'm opposed. I also have some discussion.
Okay. Let's go back and have discussion then.
Okay. I'm voting no because in the current budget, we have a position for a manager for $54,000. And what we're asking tonight is to approve a director position for over $80,000. So that's my reason for voting no.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Garris. So at this time, we have a vote of 6-1, 6 in favor and 1 opposed for the 2 positions. Okay. Board members received legal advice concerning a pending lawsuit in executive session. I want to remind everyone that board member Jada Garris has submitted a statement of recusal dated December 4th, 2018, thereby abstaining herself of all votes, deliberations, and other actions on the following matter. Jada Garris individually and on behalf of all others similarly situated versus Lexington County School District 1, case number 2017 CP 32-04435. The recusal states the reason for the disqualification is that Ms. Garris is a litigant in the above-mentioned matter who possesses a financial interest in its outcome. Therefore, Ms. Garris was not present during this discussion in executive session. At this time, there are no actions on that particular matter. We are now going to move to the contractual matter. Board members considered a property contractual matter related to the purchase of property for a new elementary school in the White Knoll attendance area. Do I hear a motion regarding this property contractual matter?
Madam Chair, I move that the board accept the administration's recommendation to approve the purchase of a piece of property per an agreement dated April 9, 2019 with Linda K. Mack and Jimmy R. Schumpert. The property is 35.0 acres and is known by Lexington County as TMS number 007600-02-046. The consideration for this property is $350,000. This total equates to $10,000 per acre.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Guyton. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oswald. Let's open this up for discussion, board, and let's start with Mr. Salters walking us through this discussion, and then we'll open it up to the board for questions or comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dr. Little, I'll call your attention to the screen. I have a brief presentation related to this property. As you recall, this is for our 19th elementary school in the district. And this was a rendering of a prototype of this elementary school. This is based on the design that was first started at Rocky Creek Elementary School and then evolved at Meadow Glen Elementary and then Deerfield, and most recently Centerville Elementary, which this image is a rendering of. So this will be built also in the River Bluff attendance area, and that's actually number 18. And so I just want to remind you of that prototype plan that will be used for this property. To orient you where the property is located, this is South Lake Drive, more commonly called Highway 6, headed out towards the Pelion area. At the top of the screen is White Knoll High School, so Platte Springs Road comes across right up in here. New Publix is right over here on this corner. And the most closely aligned cross street is Bluefield Road. Many of you may have picked blueberries in the field that's back here behind this property. And then you'll also note that the new neighborhood where this road was realigned, Bluefield was a dirt road on this side for many, many years, and it was recently realigned when the Bluefield neighborhood was developed or purchased and developed by the Mungo Homes. And so it's adjacent to that, and there will be about 700 plus homes in this area on top of the already 700 or so homes that are you see on the screen there. And so in our 2018 facility study, when our consultant was recommending areas for land purchase, this particular piece of land actually sat in the center of the area where they recommended us locating an elementary school to serve this future growth population. You'll also note on the screen this jagged line right here is actually our Lexington District 1 attendance boundary. So in this area, you actually cross into Lexington 2 for a brief period of time before crossing back into Lexington 1. So it's situated close to the areas of development. A closer shot there of just the proposed site. And then want to look briefly at the topography of the land. You're now accustomed to seeing these little squiggly lines. And basically the way this site is oriented, we have a higher elevation up in this top corner, and the land slopes down to a lower elevation here, and there's a draw that runs down adjacent to Highway 6 and flows on down the road here, and it ultimately feeds into a creek. So this elevation change is similar to what we would see. I've used this example before of Beechwood Middle School, where we had if you ride by that school, we have an elevation drop that goes down, and we made use of that with a retention pond at the bottom, and we would do a similar configuration on this site. Also looking at wetlands and pond and stream buffers, areas on the site that we work really hard not to impede on through our development here in Lexington 1. And so on this site, it was approximately 3 acres, and you see these delineated here of wetland area, about 8.5% of the site. And just for reference, I've used this one before, but Lake Murray Elementary has the most wetland area that has been protected on our campuses at about 25.5 acres, or about 43.2% of that site. So you can see we do have the ability to develop around those areas pretty well. And this is an early rendering of what the site layout configuration might look like. We have multiple drive accesses. The primary access here on South Lake, or Highway 6, is a bus or service entrance. So that's where our buses would come in, drop off in the back of the school, and this is the cafeteria area. And also the gym area that's connected to the cafeteria. And then the main parent drop-off would be off of Bluefield Road, and we have a long 2,000-plus linear feet of stacking that is leading up to the campus, and that's designed so that it can be double-stacked with cars with the intent of getting all of the traffic off of Bluefield Road in the afternoon when parents queue up to pick their children up. And then, of course, they flow on around and through for an exit. back out onto Bluefield. And you notice we do have a fire access road that's delineated all the way around the campus. And so, and then on the lower side, we would use this area as a retention pond to take use of the natural shape of the land in the area. So, and then just to recap again, just the site, and as we've talked before, we really try to locate our schools where students are to minimize the traffic movements of our parents. And so, the two large developments coming in here, it will serve this area very well to have this school closely aligned to those areas.
And Mr. Salters, remind everyone what's up at the top where Platte Springs Road is.
Up here at the top, that's White Knoll High School in that area, and to the left, down Platte Springs, we have Carolina Springs Elementary and Middle, and then to the right, and then north just a little bit, we have Saxe-Gotha Elementary School. And then you may recall as well, if you continue on up South Lake, the YMCA property has recently changed hands, and that is going to be another about 400 homes, and that really will impact Red Bank Elementary, which is just north of that. So really, a lot of growth coming to that area, so we really need to be prepared to serve those future students.
Board, you've heard Mr. Salter's presentation. Are there any questions or comments?
I just want to thank the district in looking hard for the site. You know, it's interesting, there's a lot of discussion about traffic, and I get it, but as a school board in the district, our obligation is to meet the education needs of the kids that move to our district. And we know that excellent education is driving growth, but we're really not in the infrastructure business. But choosing this site on the periphery of the district is about the only thing we can do to try to spread that. So again, thank you for, because we talked about that a couple of years ago of finding this site, so.
Well, as you recall, our message in our referendum planning was we want to really try to shape the growth instead of react to it. And that's, I think, alluding to what you're saying there, and that's really what we're trying to do here.
Well, and we've been in good dialogue with county council, because that, again, is where the infrastructure and controls can be put in place for growth. So again, we're in dialogue with them as well.
And I'm just curious, when Malone and McBroom did the study, was it anticipated that the YMCA property would be sold and developed? Or was it anticipated that it was going to remain? That's
an interesting point. We talked about that earlier today. Actually, that particular tract was anticipated to remain as a YMCA. I mean, typically those sites don't turn over, much like county properties, and so that was an unforeseen development that will occur.
Okay. Board, any other questions or comments?
Yes, I would like to say thank you for getting us the due diligence documents ahead of tonight's board meeting, as opposed to afterwards when we usually get them. However, I know I just received this yesterday. That's the first time it was offered to me. So I haven't had a chance to review everything in here, and I would really like a chance to look at the traffic impact studies before taking a vote.
Okay. Well, we already have a motion and a second on the floor, so that should have been brought up before the motion was made. Board, we do have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. As a reminder, this is the purchase of the property for the new elementary school in the White Knoll attendance area. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay, so we now have a 6-1 vote, and the motion carries. And Mr. Salters, go ahead and buy that land, and let's get some classrooms for the children in White Knoll.